The number one reason you wake up with puffy under eyes or watery eyes or feeling almost heavy and congested and in pain is because of your lateral neck flexing muscles. The group of muscles that sit on the side of our neck, right behind this diagonal one, called the scalenes. These allow us to bring our ear to our shoulder, slightly rotate our head, and most importantly, stabilize our head on our body. This group of three muscles are also aiding in breathing. They are attached to ribs 1 and 2 right here, and they help lift the upper chest up to expand the lungs and get more air in. My name's Danny, by the way. I specialize in manual lymphatic drainage and nervous system resets. Let's talk about how the scalenes are affecting both of those systems, your nervous system and your lymphatic flow. So like I mentioned, these lateral neck flexing muscles are attached to ribs 1 and 2 and aid in expanding the upper chest and getting more air into the lungs. However, when we are in a constant state of stress, trauma response, fight or flight, number one, my body does not know I'm in the jungle naked being chased by a lion, or I have bills due, or got to take the kids to school, or whatever your life stresses are. It does not literally know the difference between a lion chasing you and a stress that's not a physical threat. So when we are in this constant state of stress, we are, unbeknownst to our own knowledge, subconsciously breathing with only our chest and not our diaphragm. This does two things. Two things here. Number one, this puts tension and stress and congestion happens because all these tissues in the neck and chest tighten. This restricts blood flow, lymphatic flow, which is draining toxins from your brain. And when we have high toxic load from medications, food, the stuff they put in our air, anesthesia, surgery, stress, unrecycled and undiscarded hormones, that toxicity level builds up and causes disease. That can be inflammation, brain fog, fatigue, chronic allergies, or autoimmune issues. So breathing is the number one thing we need to focus on to reduce neck tension, to reduce stress, to regulate lymphatic flow, blood pressure, our body's toxicity. So if we are in this constant state of fight or flight, these scalenes are overworking. One way you can tell, and this is how I tell as soon as I touch my clients, I go, what's going on up here? What's your work life? Like, why are we so stressed out? Why are we breathing in our chest? Is you can quite literally feel right below this collarbone on each side and right above it. If that feels like hard, rocky, spaghetti-like tissue, those muscles are completely overworking. You're probably having either forward head position, which puts stress, you can see it puts stress on all these muscles on my face. It puts stress on my eyes, which can also lead to fatigue. The muscles on our back of our neck here help our eyes look around the room. Now, the primal part of us needs to have peripheral vision so we can look for threats. If our neck is so tight because of improper breathing, chronic stress, trauma that's unresolved, we are constantly overworking these posterior neck muscles, these lateral neck flexors from looking down at devices and at our computers and not resolving trauma. So we're walking around in a chronic fetal position to protect our nervous system, unbeknownst to our own conscious mind. These muscles overwork, they restrict eye movement, and that drives you further into fight or flight because your nervous system cannot detect peripheral threats. So all these things connect. Breathing, our mindset, the words we think, the words we speak, the words we listen to. So what we can do to help reduce this neck tension is really focus on diaphragmatic breathing. The vagus nerve, vagal nerve, number 10 in the cranial nerves, this thing exits right down your neck, drives down the throat, down the cavity of the chest, and dumps out, let me go over here, dyslexic and visual, dumps out right here underneath the left rib. Now, if we have restricted breathing and we're breathing up in this upper chest, these scalenes are overworking, this diaphragm muscle literally like freezes. It's a fight or flight response. It becomes dense and hard and contracted, and it almost feels impossible to not breathe into your upper back. It feels impossible to breathe outwardly. All this tissue becomes tight and restricted, and these lymphatic vessels here drain to these lymphatic clusters in our armpits. And if we can't drain because of tight chest muscles, tight neck muscles, this just drives us again further into fight or flight. It's a little bit of a tongue twister. So other things we can do other than focusing on diaphragmatic breathing, which in my opinion is the number one thing you need to do when trying to regulate your nervous system and try to improve your lymphatic flow to reduce pain, inflammation, and illness, is relieving tension on the clavicle. So number one is diaphragmatic breathing. Let's get out of these scalenes. Let's get out of this chest. Let's get out of this I'm being chased by a lion breathing. Let's breathe into our diaphragm. Let's expand our ribs laterally. And then here, my number one favorite is reducing tension, not only on where this lymphatic fluid flows, which is right over the top of this collarbone on each side, but reducing tension on where those scalenes attach. I have a ton of videos up on how to reduce tension in the neck, so please go scroll my page for that. But one thing we can do is, again, very lightly, watch my beauty mark here move, just press lightly into the chest and then pull down to relieve tension. So you can see I'm just getting enough tension to move the skin down. I'm gonna put my tongue on the roof of my mouth, pull my head back, and then kind of move things around and arch and unarch my shoulders and my back, and you will get cracks out of the back of your neck, out of your mid back. You will get tension taken off the face, because again, you can physically see how much if I'm walking around if I'm really walking around like this, or typing like this, or breathing, come on, you can see how much tension is getting put on my eyes, on the back of my neck, on my jaw, on my tongue. This creates a whole slew of medical issues that you're not going to get addressed from a Western physician. So unfortunately, things like this are going to be how we heal ourselves. So let's share information. So I digress. Let's go back to this. We're going to be pressing in, pulling down, tongue on the roof of the mouth, pulling the head back, and moving the neck, pulling the chin back and looking down. If you do this right, you can feel this all the way in your sacrum. This is going to be a really big stretch for the whole body. You can pull in, see where this skin wants to go. Another thing I want to mention in this video, I don't want to make this too long because I'm a talker, but another way you can tell if like this, you're like, I don't know, Danny, I don't know. I don't touch my body enough to know. Number one, please start touching your body more, okay? This tells you so much. You need to know what like your tissue feels like so you know when it's tense. A lot of the time where we feel pain is not where the tension is. And this is what I do in the body work I do with my clients. I want you to touch your chest. Get in there. Press in between your ribs, in between your intercostals. Is that tender? Is that hard? Is that painful? Are you pulling back because it's a lot? A lot of people don't know they have pain here. If there's pain here, your major thoracic area is clogging blood flow, lymph flow, reducing your oxygen uptake to your brain, which is like jet fuel for our brain, just breathing. Tongue posture helps a lot with calming the nervous system. Look on my page again for a lot of tongue videos, but all of this is connected. Breathing patterns matter. They affect your lymphatic flow. The biggest lymph node in the body is our cisterna chyli. It sits right under the diaphragm. So if that diaphragm's locked up and has tension on it because we're breathing wrong, we're breathing in our chest, it's affecting your lymph. It's affecting your vagal nerve that we talked about dumping out under this left rib. It affects the tension on your liver, on your right rib, right underneath it. If we have tension on our liver, that puts so much stress on so many feedback loops in our bodies. So moral of the story, let's diaphragmically breathe. Tongue posture matters. It needs to be living on the roof of your mouth behind your front teeth. Tension on the neck matters because we're blocking our brain's ability to drain toxins and foreign things that our body doesn't need. So really focus on diaphragmically breathing, reducing tension at the neck, and keeping our tongue in a good posture. If we let that tongue sag, and this is like a thing I think Hollywood, I don't know how to wink, Hollywood people do, is you pull that tongue up and it pulls all these muscles up. I have tons of videos on the platysma muscle, reducing tension on the SCM. Actually, let's do that really quick. So we talked about the scalenes. They sit right behind the sternocleidomastoid, which is right here, this diagonal guy. You can kind of dump your head to the side to find it. It's pretty thick. You can grab onto it. And just gently, I'm kind of trying to show you guys here. Keep your head tilted to the side and kind of massage that. Is that tight, especially behind that muscle? This is a major lymphatic point. All of our cranial nerves live near the ear. So really focus on these areas where those major neck stabilizer muscles live. breathing affects these, as we talked about. So get out of the diaphragm, or get into the diaphragm and out of the chest. Reduce tension here. Touch yourself, okay? What hurts? What's squishy? What's not squishy? If you have any questions, leave a comment below. And I hope we learned a little bit about our scaling muscles, guys. We got to get out of this. We got to get out of this position. Fucking no neck Nancy over here. Breathe, okay? Breathe.